afternoon, everybody. January is almost over. January that I've heard called sometimes the month-long Monday. And as we're about to say goodbye to January 2024, it's a good time for looking back on 2023 and the things that gave me particular pleasure in the area of fiction, whether it's on film or in print. And since I've got movies on the brain on account of it being Oscar season, I'm going to start by going over the movies, the 2023 releases that I have seen. Some that I saw back last year, others that I've seen recently in this month of January, but all released in 2023. First, I'm just going to list them all, going in the order in which I wrote them down when I was checking Wikipedia for a list of 2023 releases. Which ones did I see? In no particular order, except for the order I wrote that I saw them in that article. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall, Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, Nimona, A Haunting in Venice, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Marvels, The Color Purple, The Boy and the Heron, Poor Things, and Elemental. So what I'm going to do is rank these films, and I'm going to keep an eye on the time again to see whether or not a part 2 is needed. So, going to go from the bottom up. So I'm going to start with the only film on that list that I did not like. 2 stars. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. This film frustrates me because I wanted it to be good. It was DreamWorks, and DreamWorks had had a banner year back in 2022 with the release of The Bad Guys, which I haven't seen yet, and Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish, which I did see, and it was amazing. So I thought, okay, they're bringing their A game lately. Let's see them bring their A game to a story with a female protagonist, particularly because I love the idea. I like monster girls, and anybody who has read my novels or seen my plays knows I have a weakness for monstrous heroines. And so to see this and find it so crushingly mediocre kind of hurt. Also, Jane Fonda should not do voice acting. I found her voice, her character, the character she voiced, particularly annoying, and her voice was a big part of that. I kind of wanted her to get some sort of comeuppance, and yet the movie wanted us to like her. So, well, anyway. So, disposing of that, 3 stars I'm going to give to The Marvels, which I did like. It was a fun time at the movies, and I will admit that movie, it was an easy sell for me, despite it getting a lot of hate, both from critics and audiences, because of Iman Vellani as Ms. Marvel. I love Ms. Marvel. I love Kamala Khan. I love it that she's a soft-spoken teenage nerd girl with superpowers. First of all, we don't see nerd girls that often. We still don't see nerd girls that often. Yeah, we do tend to see some bookish young women, like, for example, in Olivia Wilde's Booksmart a few years back. But do we see girls that are into comics and science fiction and superheroes? Do we see that in our popular culture? Not very often. We really don't. And so Ms. Marvel is a character that I enjoy every time I encounter her, because she writes fan fiction. I mean, how can I not love that? Plus, the movie has Flurkins in it. So, is it the greatest Marvel film of all time? No. But I enjoyed myself. And sometimes that's all you need when you go to see a movie. Now I'm moving up to the 4-star level. And these are the 4-star movies in no particular order. 4-star means that this isn't just a movie that appealed to me personally. It's a movie that I think is objectively good or does some interesting things with its narrative. So 4 stars for Barbie, which again I wanted to see partly because it had an amazing trailer, very clever trailer with a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I was just interested. I'd seen Greta Gerwig's work before, and I was curious to see what was she going to do with Barbie. And she made Barbie a rather fun and interesting character. Margot Robbie plays her very well. And did some very interesting things with the idea of what the toys we play with say about us. What do they say about what the world expects of us? What do they say about what we want to become? So I had a lot of fun watching it. And I do believe Greta Gerwig should have gotten a nomination for Best Director. So, yeah, 4 stars for Barbie. I would recommend it, although it does tick off some people who see the movie as misandristic. I don't really see it like that. I see it as just a kind of critique of society's ideas of what constitutes masculinity and what constitutes femininity. So, 4 stars for Barbie. 4 stars also for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That movie was tremendous fun. And probably the best, and I think in some ways the smartest, big screen fantasy film I've seen for several years. That I should qualify that by saying live action. Because in the wake of Lord of the Rings, we saw a lot of live-action fantasy films that weren't very good. And this one, first of all, if you ever played D&D when you were a kid, it does appeal to that. You'll recognize, okay, this is the druid, this is the barbarian. You know, you recognize all the classes, all the references, but it creates characters that are interesting, or that were interesting to me. 4 stars. 4 stars also for The Color Purple, the 2023 remake of Steven Spielberg's 1985 film, and of course a new adaptation of Alice Walker's novel. And it's got a lot of great songs. What's keeping it from being 4.5 or 5 stars is that a lot of the songs in the Broadway musical were cut from the film. And it left me really wanting to see the stage musical. But darn it, I love it when musical performers get cast in musicals. And all the people in this brought their A game. Fantasia Barrino as Celie, Taraji P. Henson as Shug Avery, and of course Oscar nominee Danielle Brooks as Sophia. So 4 stars for The Color Purple, and it is now clocking in at 9:17. I'm concerned about what happens if I go over 10. So this will be part 1.